Hi, I'm Cris, also known as Ekstrand6581. Wow, what on earth is this? A bunch of stuff on the table. Well, the thing is that I have been asked some questions about how I make my captures, or actually, I'm running something called a demo shower. We do it weekly. And what is a demo shower? Well, the demo scene has a lot of nice demos to offer, and I want my audience to shower in them. So in streaming, anything from 2 hours, 6 hours shows. Yeah, we started pretty rough with 6 hour shows back in the day, and that was back in the day. So that was really cool. And why I'm making this is going to be a lot of theory, of course, as always, when we start, and the follow-up, the part 2, whatever, I will go more into detail to show you how everything works. But we need to start from somewhere, okay? We need to take it from the first stage to stage 2, 3, etc., etc. So, I was kind of looking into my archive of recordings, and I found out that one of the first recordings, I'm sipping on this lovely cup of tea, because my throat needs it. If we are going, like I said, back in those days, I started by using one of these WinTV cards. Okay, this WinTV cards is not the one that I used, of course, because as we can see, this one has PCI slots and PCI Express slots. But it is what I found, and the other card is in another computer, and it's locked in the dungeon, so to say, where I keep all my other toys and stuff. But anyhow, this one I plugged into the PC, like so, and I got the SVHS, or the S-video signal from my Commodore 64. And to do that, you need some kind of cables, like so. And to get this from the Commodore 64, it was a bit of a hassle to begin with, I can assure you. I'm looking here at the table to find the proper, there we have the cable. This is actually the original SCART cable that I built, and this is where you plug into your video on the Commodore 64 to get SCART out. But we have an issue here, okay? How can we make this work? Oh no, it doesn't work like that. This is not gonna work. I'm gonna grab one of my Commodore 64s. Gonna see if I can find my pressures one. That one. Or actually, it doesn't matter. We can also take this lovely piece of computer, the VIC-20. That was actually how it started. And I made some captures from the VIC-20, and it was awesome, I can tell you. But it was also, like I said, a bit of a hassle. And this one has a nice upgrade too. It's a final expansion. But anyhow, you plugged in this piece of cable into the video port, like so. Okay, this is gonna be like ho ho ho, hey hey hey, what's going on? It's going back and forth and back, no problems whatsoever. So what I started to use was actually one of these beasts, and this is a kind of cool one because it has input A, B, and C, which are coming now from the VIC-20 in this case. It comes from the SCART. And you plug it in to, in this case, the VCR SAT RGB. That's the port you plug it into. Boom, like so. And now, what's going on? What's happening? What is happening here is, if we are looking at the side, I'm not sure if the camera can catch it, but it doesn't matter. It says VHS S video 8 high 8 RGB. Okay, some really fancy name, but it's okay. We put it in mode C because that I know works. And now we have something called monitor, and that is where what this is actually to begin with is a selector. You can, I think I said it, but I can repeat myself, it doesn't hurt. You can select from VCR1 to and this VCR3 that also has saturation or sat and RGB. I guess it's like for a satellite receiver or whatever. But for my purpose, and I mean now we're speaking 1995, 1996, when I started to kind of get interested in this. What I did then, or actually what I needed, was one of those that you kind of, yeah, you use these to convert the SCART to, in this case, S-video. And also, what I also learned about these are that you need one that is fully populated, that has the sync thing so it can sync correctly, else you will have a very, very poor picture. These are more or less the same. One is a little bit smaller, but it doesn't matter. So you just plug it in here, or you plug it in here. Oof. And now, oops, if you don't bend the cables too much, you are good to go. Cable management, did I say that? Yes, yes, yes! Kill it! Okay, there we go. Oh, tea time. Slurping. Slurp it your way, I don't care. So anyhow, this is how you did it, in a way. So now, if we are just wrapping this up, you get the signal from the WIC20 out, from the video out. It comes into this little device, sneaks its way into input C, goes into the circuit here, goes out to this monitor TV output thing, and into the video card. And now you just snag it into the PC and you're ready to go. This particular model has multiple functionalities, so you can read, because you shouldn't just think that, oh, the Commodore 64 or the VIC-20, it has 50 Hertz if you're living in the European country world. Ooh, I can just, no, forget about it. Sometimes life is not easy. It's not even meant to be easy when you're dealing with Commodore stuff. So sometimes you even have to go through one of these. It's more or less the same, you can say, but this one I used, and I had to kind of like connect from the SCART out here to the input here and to get it out here. Or no, sorry, that's the wrong device. I have another one. Sorry, that's the totally, yeah, this one. The SAT decoder switch I had to use sometimes to decode the signal. I don't know why, it makes no sense, but it was something with the actual what is it called? That's the transmission. It's not called transmission, transcription. Anyhow, it's how the frequency lines up. So you had to use a lot of converters to get it working, and that was fine, very fine for demos and for some standard, you know, I cannot show you how to program. But as soon as you got into games, I occurred a lot of latency, and that was an issue. But again, I wasn't too much into gaming and show games. No. I wanted to show demos. The years went by, of course. My trusty old VIC-20 that now has a lot of demos that you can. I will actually show more demos in my demo showers from the VIC-20, but I have some issue with the video out. The picture quality is from another world. I can tell you, it's not the prettiest one. But we evolved a little bit, didn't we? And I tell you that I got the Commodore 64. I got a few of these here. No. No. Don't do that on me. Don't do that, okay? So my first Commodore 64 is the old trusty bread bin. This one is a good one, and it has JFFI installed for some obvious reason. And I have upgraded it with a Kung Fu 2 cartridge. I think this is nowadays. And it also has a Wi-Fi connection, and you're wondering, why would it have Wi-Fi? Why would it have that? And it has JFFI. Well, the thing is that I use this one to preserve tapes and floppies. Excellent, you just load stuff here, yeah, and so on. Even though JFFI has some stuff built in for that. But it doesn't matter. And we're not here to talk about the preservation thing, right? So, I just did what I did. Plug this one into the back of the Commodore 64. And we are ready to go. I did this a lot back in the days, I can tell you. I have made some YouTube captures on this channel that are, I think some of the tape loaders are kind of done from this machine on this, no, not this particular video capturing card, but yeah, you get it. And then you ask, but they were upscaled, weren't they? Correct, that's correct. And I bought one of these. This is a cheap upscaler. It's one of those GBS something upscaler. The one that I have used is no longer functioning because I was trying to, yeah, you know, upgrade it and make it better. And it's good if you really read what you're doing before you're trying out things. But this works perfectly, and I managed to not do it a little bit like this, you know, but in another way. So kind of, this capture card can capture higher resolutions, but I kind of, yeah, this one has S-video here. You can see it has S-video out and something called the component in here, so you can connect it there. So it kind of, that cable is gone. It's missing in action, which is a pity for this video, but it doesn't matter. So before it went to this video or this capture card, it went through this, got a bit upscaled to 1080, I think, or 27p. Don't remember, and it doesn't. No, it was 27p, I think. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But that was kind of interesting. It was an interesting period, and I bought a lot of weird upscalers, and I tried the transcoder. Yes, transcoder. That was what I was looking for. It helped me with the transcoding. Whew. But anyhow, what happened next? This was a bit of a tidy, but a bit of a lame, mind me saying, solution. I got a new computer, and I still wanted to capture things. I refused to use emulators for obviously reasons. So what happened next? Well, the next step was to get rid of the video card, or the video capturing card. Sorry, you're out of here. And this lovely box has to go. Yep. It has to go. And this and that one. And that one also had to go. Yep. Let's see if I can move them. But it was kind of, I wanted to find a way to capture and to kind of do stuff with my Commodore 64. So I got this little cheap capture, USB capture device. And okay, here we go. Here we go, my friends. I was trying, you know. What? It doesn't work. What? Huh? I couldn't get it working like that. And I refused to use the video I built a cable for the video, but oh my god. Oh, it was horrendous, that quality. It was horrendous. I couldn't stand it. So what happened then was I dug down into my cave, into my dungeon, and I think I'm gonna disconnect this one because I was almost on my way to break it. Can I disconnect this one too? And I got myself this super cool hammer video center CTI. Oh my gosh, what's going on now? Well, this one was pretty cool actually, because you can have like a player 1, player 2, monitor out. And this was just what I needed to begin with, I should say. To begin with, I used this. So, we are recapping a little bit. Oh, sorry. That's the audio. Yeah, it has audio, but I will come to this, why I have isolated them. I will come to that. But you can, of course, back in the days, anyhow, a little scrambled here, just like scrambled eggs. So what happened now was that I got this one into, you can see it says input, so I got this one into player 1 actually, and just like before I got this was at output and I used it to the monitor, I guess it was, yes. And then I took this fancy cable and put it into this. Bam, there we go. And this one, of course, the USB into the computer. Now, I could do a lot of neat stuff, especially with this one. I could also connect it to a keyboard and yeah, just do things. But I didn't do that, of course. No, that's too fancy for me. But you could change, like here, the RGB blue, chroma, contrast and luminance, which is perfect because this particular one is using an older revision of the wick chip, and it has some quirks with the color. Sometimes it gets oversaturated, so I could just squeeze the knobs or turn the knobs and adjust a lot of things here. Well, not so much, but still, it worked very nice, and I ran it for a few years, and even when I started this demo shower stuff, I ran this one to begin with, and it was perfect. I mean, sure, it was what it was, but the quality, debatable, but still, it was nice because with this device, which I hacked with newer firmware, I could now not just go with 4080p, I could go with 7020p, which was excellent for me. It was good. But then also, this particular computer only had the 6581 SID chip revision 3 or 4. I think I have the AR4 in this one. I'm not entirely sure. But what happened then was that this computer was kind of not replaced, never ever, but it was exchanged with another one. This piece of machinery. This one is my latest one. It's now upgraded. It has a SID-FX on it, so you can change, you can see here, the 8580 R5 of course, and the 6581 R4. And it has S-Video out with this little AV adapter, and it has an Ultimate 2 Plus. So this is the freak of nature, and it also has one of the LumaFix installed. So yeah, now we're talking. And to begin with, if we're removing all the stuff here. Or actually, now I'm getting ahead of myself. That's not what happened. To begin with, this one did not have the AV out, actually. So I had to... OCD mode. So I had to use this cable and do the same converting thing. But this device was a little bit weird to work with. I can assure you, it is. It is. So what happened next was the following. This device I had to not retire, but I had to, yeah, it has to go back to where it belongs, in the archive. And I had to replace it with this video mixer or video editing processor from GCV, and this was a game changer for me. This I used for many years, and it has a lot of inputs. It has 2 inputs and 2 outputs and a monitor out. Here is the monitor out. So what I did, you can clearly see which ports that has been kind of busy. I almost worn out, you know. That's how I used it. So this is the out. You see, you're getting out, and it has been converted to S video. That goes there. And this is the output from the Commodore 64 that goes into that one. That port. Boom. And everything was working fine, because like I said, here I could do a lot of fancy stuff. I could even connect another Commodore 64 that I did for a while. Yeah, I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. So so at some point I had this Commodore 64. Wow, brighten up, really brighten up. It's not that bright actually, but yeah, we're getting some. That the camera light is extremely hot today. But this one also has 2 SID for the 8580. So I used this one and had it like running into the second port that is beneath here. So I could then, you know, mix and match here, fade in, fade out, and do a lot of fancy stuff on my demo showers. That was. But the 2 SID wasn't, so yeah, it had a kind of a short run, so to say. And then also I had this one, which is, as we can see, an 8580 R5 installed, and it has a fancy NIC 64. Yeah, I used this one. I still use it when I'm preserving things, more or less. But this one I had connected to this video editor, along with my old the Breadwin that we saw in the past. But then something happened. This piece of USB capture device, it started to act up a little bit. It didn't work so good. So, boom, I had to change it, of course. Of course. I mean, why something that works good, why would it continue to work good? No. So I upgraded to this little thing. And I ran this to the computer. This is a USB thing. I ran this to the computer and did as I shown here, S video in there. And this one also had, or has actually, stereo like this. So I used, where did that connector go? Like that. So we had the RCA connector or phonocom, like so. And that one goes from the SID effects. That, yeah. And before that, you saw that little that SCART cable that I was talking about that had some. Oh, where did it go? That had, yeah, these are glued now, but I cannot use these in before I installed the ZFX. So yeah, it was nice. It was nice, and like I said, I ran it for a long time, many years. I think it was two years, or yeah, something like that, 2-3 years. Then something really cool happened. Really cool. I could slim down and kind of get rid of this device, because yeah, it was my desk was always jammed with technology, but it didn't matter. It was still fun. Oh my god, so many stuff here. So what happened next was that let's remove things, obsolete things now. This one also went to retirement, even though I can use it from time to time, just for the nostalgic feeling. This one, the video to SCART thing, also went to retirement. But like I said, I'm using it, or I'm kind of using it when I'm trying out my old WIC 20 that I eventually will get some kind of S-video mod for. I just haven't got around that yet. This we can also put aside, organizing things, and I will come to this device very soon. So what happened was that I got a phone call, or actually an email or whatever, from a guy living very local here, or actually, yeah, another guy that kind of linked me to this guy who I know for many years, since many years ago. And that doesn't matter, but it just makes the story a little bit more fun. So what happened was that I got this nice Framemeister, and the price, I won't even talk about the price. It was a really friendly price, that's all I can say. It was nice price. And what happened next was that I upgraded this, like I said, with a S-video AV stuff thingling there, and I also upgraded it with the Ultimate 2 Plus, and now it was so much easier to work. You just plug this, this one into the S-video. There we go. And on the back here you have an HDMI cable that yeah, it should be here somewhere, but it's not. Bummer. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. I will just go through what happened next. Then this one, the Elgato, in this case the HD60S Plus. Here you take the input that goes from the HDMI out here into this, boom, into the computer via the USB-C connector here. And also here you have out, and this is perfectly, because then I can have it connected to the reference monitor, as I say, so I can see how everything is getting captured from the Commodore 64. But also on this model I also have a secondary S-video out, so I can have that one to the CRT monitor. So I have like the real deal and the captured thing out. I have two reference monitor, and I'm using OBS Studio, so I can see what's going on there. Then I have like the capture out monitor and the CRT that is directly from the Commodore 64. It's a little bit complicated, but that's how I work. I like to have it that way. So that's for the Commodore 64. And I like this setup, and I'm tweaking it a little bit every now and then to get most. But what's most important for me is the sound, actually. So this one is of course recapped, and I have some, and I have done some special things to the not special things. I have just isolated the noise in the SID chip by connecting the audio into the ground, and inside here I have like a potentiometer, so you can adjust the feedback, so to say, because sometimes you don't want it. And it works with the SID effects, no problems. And like I said, I have one 8580 R5 and an 6581 R4 in this AR. So this is nice, extremely nice, if we don't rip everything apart. Getting ahead of myself. Yeah. But now, on my demo showers, which I have been broadcasting on Twitch, but Twitch and I are good friends, but sometimes they don't appreciate what I'm doing, so they keep banning me. But it's okay, you can get it if you want. Anyhow, the Commodore 64 part is always at my heart, and so I used it a lot, using it a lot, I should say. But then was to have another friend in the house, which is an Amiga that I also use from time to time. But the Amiga is a little bit more tricky when it comes to capture. You can't just hook it up and think that, wow, we're gonna go. Because the Amiga, if you think that the Commodore 64 is using weird video modes, you know, interlaced and stuff like that, that's nothing compared to the Amiga. Because the Amiga it's quite complicated when you get into those interlaced ham modes. And there are some demos, Love from Fairlight for instance, that one has a lot of weird video modes that plenty of video cards are having great issues with. But for me, I found a little solution for that. And if we're removing this, I'm gonna put it back to it's this. It's a Kramer video presentation scaler, switcher scaler. And yes, I know the price tag are not cheap, but again, this is stuff I have been kind of, you know, collecting during the years, and I have got them for really good prices. So yeah, enough of that. But to get everything working, another box, you need to connect this in a certain way. You have oops, it's good if you see something. You have video out and you have video in, VGA in. You can even have DVI in if you want to, which just gave me an idea. We'll come to that later. Anyhow, and also, yeah, of course, and I'm thinking, but all that hassle when you have like an S video in here, can't you use that? Yes, I can, but this device makes a little bit of noise, and so far when you're having the frame meister, I don't see the purpose to add another device between, because the more devices you add, the more latency you will get. And at some point, if you're having too many devices, upscalers or transcribers or whatever, you will run into latency. And yeah, you think that, well, okay, a little bit here and there. Well, if you add a little bit here and there, you will get a lot of latency. I will come to that part in a while, because of course I ran into that. But let's stay here and now. What you then need to do with this lovely device is capture the signal from the Amiga via this VGA, the flickering thing, it goes in there. I don't know if it makes that kind of sound, but it was a funny sound to make. And then you connect this one into here, like so. And then you have a VGA cable out from either port 1 or 2. I just take the first one, like so. And then you have an output to your reference, or yeah, your reference screen or monitor. I would like to say that. I would call it a reference monitor. If you're using the one, and then you can use the second port for something else. Okay, let's rewind and start from, you can use the VGA2 for your reference monitor and this one for your capturing device, which we're coming to now. And this is a video converter HD. So, and I have gone through, I don't know how many, to be honest. It's not 1, 2, 3. I mean, I think we're speaking around 20. And this one is one of the cheapest, but it has less latency. It's something from China. Yeah. Anyhow, we want to have it go there. And also one other thing, which where is the cable? Cable. Oh, I have so many cables here. Oh, where did I put the cable? And now it doesn't matter. Yeah, here we go. And then you need to connect this one to the from the Amiga audio out, and this one you have to connect to the HD, this adapter in here, else you won't have so much sound. Anyhow, now we are kind of having something coming out here in there, and from that we're gonna take this HDMI cable, put it out from that one, and now you also have an option to add an HDMI splitter, so you can have like another reference monitor if you're up to that, or you can just connect it to the FrameMeister with the HDMI in, because it has 2 HDMI, but this one is good. And then you have it from the HDMI out into this and capture it on the PC. It's a little bit tricky to get it working 100%, because I mean, you should never imagine things to be easy, but you have to set up the this Kramer thing here as well. You need to work with it and make a profile for the Amiga, so you get like the standard resolution for it. And I will show you in part 2 how to do that, but for now it's just good. We're good in business. Good. So that's cool. That's for the Amiga, at least. But now we have another guest in the house, and that's an Atari. Unfortunately, my friend has my Atari at the moment, because yeah, they wanted to have a game evening, so, and watch demos. So yeah, figure it out. But to be able to connect the Atari to modern hardware, it has a special, I don't know what this port is called, but it's the video and sound thing. So you just put this one into your Atari, and this goes now this goes VGA out into here, VGA out there into this device, and capture. It's the same procedure, but you just need another converter for that. So, and this one it has 0 latency. Oh, this one I soldered myself. Nice. This one is the UBE switch, MK2. Yeah. So to kind of resume and sum up a little bit here, what to think about. what to think about when doing all this. I'm gonna grab myself some, as usual, pen and paper. Always come very handy when we are doing this kind of things. Wow, that's a white paper, my friends. But anyhow, what you have to think about and keep in mind is that if you're having like, this is your computer. Oh, you can't see that. Oh man, it's so bright. I need to do something. Hang on, I'm gonna see if this helps. Yes! Oh, I can see. So this is your computer. Okay. Your computer with the keys. Yeah, Commodore 64. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. But this is your computer and expansion. And so you have the video out from your computer. That's the video out. And it has to go into something that will capture your video. And the less things you have between, so to say, that can add latency, the better and faster your response time will be. Because, like I said, this VGA to HDMI thing, it has very small latency. I think we're up to, well, what can it be, like 0.2 seconds. And it's okay. And the FrameMeister has very little latency. I haven't really measured it, so to say. But something that, if we're going back to this device, it has a little bit of latency, and I'm just going to, we can call this LAT, latency. Because if we're adding plus, I mean, this is less than a half second of latency, but this one has, I have measured this one up, this one has around 0.3 latency. Okay, so now it's starting to get, now we're having like a half second of latency, and that is noticeable. You will notice it, trust me. And also, like I said, if you have issues with the transcriber and something is getting a little bit ho-ho, then you have this decoder switch. Like I said, I didn't know why it shouldn't make any sense and affect the signal, but for me it did. And this one has kind of a good amount. I think I measured up to about 0.4 seconds. And still, now it's starting to get really crucial. And this capture device has very low latency because it's PCI Express. So you won't feel it, so to say. It's also internal, so you don't have to go through buses and stuff like that. You are external buses, USB, and the north, and or if it's the south bridge that has, I don't know, I don't care. But anyhow, you don't have to go via the USB port, and so you go straight on the CPU bus, so to say. But something that absolutely has latency is this USB capture device. It has not so much latency, but this is the worst case scenario. But still it has, I have measured, it has about 0.2 sec. So now if we are kind of, we have 5. Now we have a lot of latency. I mean, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. So we have 1.1 second of latency. And that's a lot of latency. I mean, it's I'm just roughly calculating here. I know you should divide it with the base 6, but still, it's a lot of latency, and you will notice this. And it's kind of like, yeah, but what's the point? The point is that this is for the video. This is for the video. And then you have the audio. I should write here. Video. Then you have like the audio. How to make this more visible? Well, we do it like this. We have an extremely long audio cable here. And the audio has probably 0 latency. Well, it gets a little bit latency from if you're taking this. Then you have like, what did I say? Seconds. So what will happen is that now we have 1.1 second in latency in the video, and you have 0.2 second latency in the audio. That will get hiccups. It won't be good. Yeah, and it's like, but doesn't the audio and the video come from the same source, so to say? Yes, in a normal case it does, but when you split it up like I have done, because I want to have better audio, I don't give a shit about the video in a way. I want to have crystal clear audio. The video, not so much, I don't care. Well, of course I do, but still not. You get the point. If you don't get the point, just write comments and we will talk about it. But you have... it will get out of sync, that's what I'm trying to say. And you don't want that. It will sync up after a while, but you will have some issues with the transcoding thing. So that's not good. That's not good at all. Alright, so there are some tricks, like I said, that you can work with the video, and I mean, if we pretend we compensate with the latency. You can do that in OBS actually. You can compensate. If you have this extreme case, you can compensate and change a little bit there, here and there, work with the buffers and stuff like that. And also in this the FrameMeister. I love that word. Ooh. And how you can also change and play around with the settings in there, so you get like, yeah, different profiles, and you can have like the audio latency of the audio fixed and play with the buffers. But yeah, and this one, this capture card, I don't think you can do that. I haven't looked into it too much. The only thing that there are a few settings there that you should be aware of, but that we will come to when we are hooking things up and looking how it was and how it is today. So like I said, I did my first video capture around 1995, 1996, and I'm very proud of those captures, because that's also something you should never down look and feel that, oh, what I did in the past was so bad, because I think that you evolve, you kind of you know more better. For me it was like that. Even if I'm an audio guy, I'm still into video, and you understand how the video signal and the audio signals are working. And the more knowledge you have, if you have been reading at the university, signal analysis and stuff like that, and maybe you have built your own circuits, audio circuits, those standard sine wave synth with the 555 timer, etc., to get some nasty sounds, and playing with an old VHS player and just playing with the potentiometers inside there to change the decoder thing. And if you have an oscilloscope, for instance, and you want to play around measuring points and just add components, then you probably have a good way to play yourself into something and understand what's going on. This has been a pretty long one, and if you're still watching, I'm I'm happy about that. And like I said, this is just some requests. I've been reading from not this is unscripted, but I've read them topics, so to say, so I know a little bit what to talk about. So this is kind of my process, and it hasn't ended for me yet. I have more in the pipeline when it comes to like hardware scalers and upscalers, and you know, there are some retro things and stuff, other more expensive item stuff that are in the list, so to say. But that's very expensive hardware, and I can also, from my own experience, like with this, expensive isn't the best. You have to kind of figure that out yourself. But don't do like I did in the beginning. I went for the most expensive stuff, and it was like, okay, this doesn't work. And it has had so many complicated and so many advanced, complex things and features. But when it comes to old school stuff, do they really have so many, you know, hocus pocus things and advanced complex stuff on the video out? No, they don't. They are analog, and the less modern things you start with. I mean, if you find an old analog mixer like the one I showed you, the Hammer one, or this one from GVC, I mean, this piece here, this is analog. That's why it provided me with some really good pictures qualities back in the days. Like I said, I ran that thing for 2 years. But anyhow, we're not going to go into circular discussions here. Like I said, thank you very much for watching, and if you like this and you want to see more about this, I mean, you maybe want to see how I do SID recordings as well, you know what to do. That like button, 2025, we need to crush it, you know. We need to destroy it until it's Christmas. And thumbs up, yay, it helps the algorithm. And write some comments, I don't know. It's up to you. I'm just a content creator and you're my audience. So, you know, give and take is my cup of tea. Speaking about that, I'm gonna finish my cup of tea. And I hope that you learned something and you found this useful. So, cheers for now.